What's up everyone, it's Mark from Silence Tech. Intel 10th Gen has arrived and we're kicking off our coverage with a high-end i9 10900K build. With the potential speed of 5.3 GHz, this will be the ultimate gaming machine, especially since it will also be paired up with an Aorus Extreme RTX 2080 Ti and a whole host of awesome Corsair parts. Right everyone, let's jump straight into my results of the 10900K. In-depth testing will be held off for another video coming up later, where I will compare the 10900K against AMD's 3900X and 3950X, but I will show some results today so you can get a good idea of the overall performance if you decide to go ahead and build a PC like this. Testing with Cinebench R20, I got a total score of 531 in a single threaded test, with most cores maxing out at 5.1 GHz and my two favoured cores hitting 5.3 GHz. This is insane and I cannot wait to test performance in some of the latest games. Temperatures are also very good. Stress testing with IDA 64, the 10900K never reached over 80°C. I was expecting a lot warmer after hearing all of the rumours. Even at 5.1 GHz, performance is still crazy, resulting in a multi-threaded score of 6381, but that's still nowhere near a 3900X. Depending on pricing, you're going to have a tough time trying to decide which one to buy. To be honest, not much has changed. Intel still has the edge in single core performance, while AMD with the likes of the 3950X has the best mainstream workhorse right now. Moving on to the Aorus Z490 Master Gaming Motherboard, it has been designed solely for Intel 10th Gen, and you may have noticed some of the high-end Z490 boards are priced insanely high. This one isn't too bad considering you get a lot of enthusiast features with a very solid design. Featuring the brand new LGA 1200 socket, it completely replaces the LGA 1151. The motherboard also comes with a completely new power delivery system to the CPU with a 14-phase VRM solution. We still get the same dual channel memory architecture, 4 DIMM slots supporting up to 128GB. There is also a total of 3 M.2 slots, all covered by a large metal heatsink, and lastly the audio solution is very good. It's based on the 125dB signal to noise DAC, the ESS Sabre 9118. The Aorus Master has all of the features I will personally ever need. On the rear it has a BIOS flash and clear CMOS button, Wi-Fi antennas, a whole host of USB ports as well as a Type-C port, plus there's an onboard HDMI port, and lastly loads of audio jacks. On the board itself there's two USB 2.0 connectors which I have my Commander Pro and H150i connected up to, controlling all of the lighting effects and fans. There's also a single RGB and one addressable RGB header. I couldn't imagine any reason why anyone would ever need more RGB than this. You can control even more lighting effects by downloading RGB Fusion 2.0. This software works really well and there's loads of different effects. Syncing both my motherboard and GPU together was really easy, and once you've selected your favourite effects and colour, you no longer need to have the software open. Matching the motherboard is this absolute monster, an Aorus Extreme GeForce RTX 2080 Ti. This triple slot beast has some serious performance, and it's the only card you would really want to pair up with an Intel 10th Gen i9. Saying that, this beast does use up to 300 watts, and I'm wondering if my 800 watt power supply will be enough. I'm pretty sure it'll be fine, we'll see once we get testing. I overclocked it using Heaven 4.0. At stock, the card boosted up to 1935 MHz and 1767 on the memory. I settled by adding an additional 100 to the core, and on the memory I added another 500 MHz. I'm not going to go into too much detail as I have covered a lot of 2080 Ti's on the channel already. I will say it has an outstanding design, the backplate covers the whole card, and lately I'm really coming around to the Eagle logo. Looking underneath, the RGB around the triple fans makes me really want to side mount this card. Speaking of fans, they are pretty quiet under full load. Moving on to the case I decided to use for this build, it's Corsair 678C. It's fairly expensive, but the build quality really shows. In fact, I now believe this is my favourite case of all time. Honestly, looking at the pictures of it online, I wasn't that impressed until I seen it in person. It was an absolute pleasure building inside this case, and I love how the front panel has its own sound dampening door. The build is super quiet when I'm not working or gaming, and once I need more airflow I can just leave the front door open, plus it allows me to see those beautiful QL120 fans I have mounted at the front. Right now I have a 360mm rad mounted up top with 7 QL120 fans in total. We will see how this goes. If the orientation doesn't work out, I can happily mount the rad at the front for better CPU temps, although it will reduce obviously the overall airflow. I have removed the hard drive cages that come stock inside the case, resulting in better airflow and a cleaner look. There's a nice amount of room for some serious water cooling options if I decide to go down that road later on. The PSU shroud goes all the way to the front of the case, plus there's some nice simple cutouts for the front I/O ports below the motherboard, which is a real improvement over a lot of the previous Corsair cases I have got my hands on. The side panel is on hinges, making access to the inside super easy. Again, another massive improvement to a lot of other tempered glass cases. Seriously, this case just isn't given enough credit in my opinion. I absolutely love it. On the outside at the top right edge, this case has a single USB 3.1 Type-C port, 2 USB 3.0 ports, a headphone and microphone jack, and power and reset buttons. Plus there's this classy little blue LED. Overall the case looks very clean, kind of old school, but with the best modern features available right now. Other parts I've used for cooling is Corsair's iQ H150i RGB Pro XT liquid cooler, featuring a 360mm rad. It's perfect for taming that i9 10900K. From the little testing I've done so far, I would say a 240mm AIO won't cut it. This is going to be a very popular solution, the XT model, for people picking up Intel's newest i9. Not because the chip gets particularly hot, it's just because there's some serious performance available from the CPU. For DDR4 I chose 32GB of Dominator Platinum RGB, and I had no trouble running these at 3600 MHz using XMP via the very well laid out Aorus BIOS. Some of the RGB effects are very well done on these plats. So many RGB products look tacky nowadays, but these managed to stay looking as good and as classy as the originals. Paired with the other Corsair products are these 6 QL120 RGB fans. They have separate LED rings on the front and back, and both are completely changeable in Corsair's iQ software, as well as the center ring. You can customize these to match any build, or just let them go full on rainbow mode if you prefer that. I love how the 360mm rad is completely hidden in this case up top, and all you can see are those stunning QL fans. Lastly, I finished off this build with a premium individually sleeved PSU Cable Pro kit in black and white. These are also from Corsair and they do a load of different colours. They are quite expensive, but the kit is very good quality and it will fit all modern Corsair power supplies like my RM850X I've used for this build. Rounding off, this PC is coming in at just under 4k US dollars, very expensive, but you don't always need all of the RGB fans, and also I can highly recommend a 2080 Super to save some serious money. I still have an i5 to test as well, and no doubt that will be a very good chip for gaming if you're considering an upgrade soon. Plus, let's not forget AMD have a lot of bargains out right now. This is a fantastic time to buy a gaming PC, even with the current situation. I really hope this build helps someone, because I know spending this much on a PC isn't to be taken lightly, and some good solid advice can always help out. My name's Mark from Silence Tech. I really hope you've enjoyed this build. It's absolutely epic. I'm so excited to get gaming, guys. I shall see you all very soon. Goodbye.